some shit going on around here.
Oh my
in
gosh.
Flyer country.
Yeah, there's a little bit.
Your boy William Gauthier.
Oh, Cutsy?
Cutsy poo. See you later,
He's on
buddy.
his way out.
Bye.
Or he's out.
Crazy
Jeez,
few hours. I don't know where to start with it. Obviously, we're just finding out more and more as we go along, but he didn't want to be a Flyer.
Yeah, that's what the word is on the street.
So you know what?
He's no longer here.
As Jonesy said, then we don't want you, and everyone else said it.
Yep.
But it's true. But wow,
yeah.
You want to walk us through this, Riggs, or what?
Well, I'll walk through what I know, which is not much.
Yeah, exactly. We're hearing a lot of stuff right now.
Well, what do we know? We know they got traded for Drysdale and a second rounder, right?
Yes.
That's a fact.
And from all accounts, this kid's obviously he's a right-handed D, which we do need.
Yep.
And very well loved with the Ducks, I guess. Just a great kid. Loved what he said yesterday. He's just happy to be here. Didn't really want to talk about William Gauthier going the other way. He said, I don't know much about him, but nice to get this kid in. And you get him right away now. Now you're not waiting. And you have someone that's excited to be here.
That's right.
And excited for the future. And first of all, before we get into everything, I'm amazed, and it's actually pretty incredible that Danny and Jonesy and the staff were able to keep this quiet.
Yeah.
They actually were protecting the kid.
And rightfully so.
The Flyers, first of all, we're not just saying this, but we worked here, but it's a first-class organization. Mm-hmm. So the fact that you don't want to come here blows my mind away. Is it too hard for you? Whatever, we don't know. The pressure, who knows? The coach, who knows? We've heard rumblings that that's not it, but they found out in May, I guess, that he decided he didn't want to be here anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess they kept it quiet. Did a good job with that.
Which I think was a smart move, because if there was a chance that he played, you can't reverse the damage that the media would have caused had they have known 100%. That, right? So smart move. I mean, some things you got to keep in your back pocket.
Yeah.
Tight to your chest.
And it's funny, Mike Richards posted, he replied to one of Baller's posts from Nasty Knuckles IG, and he said, you're always looking for the organizations to be more transparent and tell you more. Well, now they did, and then there was a post about, tell us how you really feel. Well, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't want to be here, so,
Yeah, I mean, obviously the fans want to know everything that's going on, but the reality is there's some stuff you just can't announce and you can't release. I mean, how many phone calls do the GMs have? We're shopping guys around that don't go any further than the office space itself. The media never gets a handle on it. So there's stuff that you have to keep in your back pocket. This one is a good one because the media, the Philly media, can be pretty hardcore.
Yes,
and it's the last thing you want to do is have your player to have to deal with that unnecessarily. So. That being said, the Flyers knew that he didn't want to be a Flyer,
right?
And he hasn't.
Still blows my mind.
Yeah, right. Well, let's dig into that one. There's a few reports coming out. Elliot Friedman, Spin Chicklets guys. Where does this come from? I don't buy into anybody influencing his decision to want to leave Philly, right? Outside of his agent and maybe his parents, right? There's a lot of opinions that you might hear. You might have some buddies that, say a thing or two, but you're a first round pick. You got the red carpet rolled up, to an organization. There has to have been something, within that core group of decision makers, being his agent, his parents, that influence him. Not Kevin Hayes.
Right.
Not anybody else. He's a big boy. He's got big boy parents.
Well, I spoke with Hazy right when all this was coming out. We talked, and he's like, yes, I know the kid. He goes, I would never tell him. I loved Philadelphia. I wouldn't tell him not to sign there. And I said, Hazy, if you did, and he listened to just you, he's an idiot anyway.
Yeah,
I'm sorry for saying that, but it's true. Even if Hazy did do that, well, if that kid's going to make a decision off of Hazy, it didn't take. Anyone that watches hockey could see that there was an issue with Torts and Hazy and Torts and Tony and Provy, and they're all gone now. If that kid's going to listen to anyone beside his family and his agent and everything like that, then He's obviously mentally weak.
Well, that's it. We can't blame. Yeah, exactly. And you can't blame it on, people sharing their opinions, even if that was true.
Right.
The reality is everyone knows Torts. You know what you're going to get with Torts.
Right.
He's a demanding coach. There's no secret there.
Right.
So anything that's, Hayes or anybody else would have said to, convince, it's not new information. That was, Hayes' situation with Torts. That's his own issue.
Yeah.
That's gone. Obviously he moved on. But that doesn't bring in anybody else. It certainly doesn't bring in a new, freshly drafted first round pick.
Right.
This doesn't, it shouldn't have any effect on that. So, but what we do know is that somewhere in that pocket, he decided, in May of last year, he did not want to be a Flyer. So right. you're forcing the organization's hand to obviously have to move him. Again, the time span from then to now is, what is that? 8 months or so. A World Juniors, a championship later. He has a great showing. They win. His stocks are high. The time is right.
Yep.
But I think what we somewhat know is that when he first got drafted. He
was so horny.
Yeah, he's horny. He wanted to be a Flyer.
Yes.
Of course he did, right?
Yep.
I mean, you wouldn't say that unless
Who wouldn't?
Yeah, right. Stare him right in the eye, say you want to be a Flyer. He goes back to college. He has a good year. So Chuck gets fired 2 days later. His season ends, and he wants to become a Flyer. He wants to turn pro. And from what I understand, they didn't have any cap space to squeeze him in.
Yeah.
And there was apparently a PTO, American League,
deal
contract that he could have taken. I understand. He didn't want it, and that's fair enough. You have the right to say no.
You do. You also haven't played a pro game in your life.
Well, yeah.
But you're right. That's his decision.
That's his decision.
Yes.
He's a first round pick. He just thinks highly of himself, so as he should, and so does his agent, his parents. So there's some, obviously some, some coddling and some, direction that they're kind of giving him. But then it seemed to have turned sour, or whether, again, I don't know, you don't know. Was it like, okay, well, now you didn't find a way to open up a contract for me that I'm going to be hostile and I'm going to be resentful for it? I don't know, but like the reality is something turned there.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, if you don't want to be a Flyer, and if your opinion and your feel towards your situation turns that sour that quickly, like, we can't help you. You know what I mean? It's like if you have that strong feelings because they're in a jam with a cap issue and they couldn't make it work for 16 or 17 games, I think it was, at the end of the season.
Right.
And that's the way you're going to kind of turn, your attitude's going to change. Then, I mean, it's clearly showing his colors. You probably don't want that guy long term anyways.
Well, exactly. I thought the Flyers handled this unbelievably well, especially their interview. Like, obviously, they're going to get Jonesy jumped right in between periods and just said he didn't want to be a Flyer, so we don't want you either. And there's nothing wrong with him saying that. And Torts said Torts said the same thing. He's like, if you don't want to be here, we don't want you. And they got a second round pick, and they got and we got a right-handed D shot, and you got him now. Yeah. Right? Like, you're not waiting, so I don't know. I have to applaud the Flyers for this whole situation. Thought they handled it great. Yeah. Of course, we didn't know what was going on, which is usually you hear whispers here and there, right? Like with things like this, but never heard anything. And someone had said that he's going to go out west there and win a cup with Zegras. Well, Zegras might not be there, according to some reports.
Sounds like he's getting shopped
Baller
around.
and Debo, the unbelievable insiders, have both said that they're trying to trade Zegras. Yeah. But who knows? But anyway, just a wild night, and it kind of took away from I don't want to say a bad effort, because I think the Flyers play hard every night, but just a tough game against Penguins. It kind of took the spotlight away from the game that we ended up losing, I think, 4-1. But crazy couple days here. Yeah,
and I'm sure in the next day or two there's going to be more information that's kind of funneling through. They were supposed to have made a statement that addressed it, but it sounds like they're just staying silent. At this point, they might want to think about coming out with a statement, because again, everyone speculates. There's all this misinformation out there. This person, that person saying stuff. We don't really know. But what we do know is he's no longer a Flyer. we got to move on. You know, it's just a little drama, a little extra, you know, unnecessary nonsense. You know, but
it will be fun when he comes down.
Oh yeah. He's not going to want to play in Philly.
Hey, Philly flu.
You almost kind of wish that he played on the East Coast here, and visiting Philly a little more often.
A little more, so it kind of goes away, right? It'd be like Yoni picking up. Had to play Jordan Tutu. My tum-tum hurts. My tum-tum hurts.
But yeah, you know, it's this is part of sports. This stuff happens.
Yeah.
You know, you got high-end picks getting influenced because they gotta want to go into the best situation that they can to go into, and if for some reason they didn't feel like that, you know, they have the right. You know, everyone's got the right to have an opinion, and you know, it's just like, does it reflect well? Probably not, but
no,
you know. But the reality is it is a business. If you're not happy with your situation, you have that luxury to go elsewhere. You got, you know, your stocks are high.
They could have made him sit for 2 years, but then you lose him. Totally, right?
Yeah.
Like after
you don't want to do that.
No,
like you don't want to create that hostage type situation. So
I saw a lot of people like kind of comparing it to Eric Lindros, which really isn't the same because Eric told Quebec, "Don't draft me because I'm not going to sign."
Right.
You. Right.
Yeah,
like,
that's different.
That was a generational player, obviously way different. But anyway, crazy.
Yep.
Crazy.